We do it every Tuesday morning with FHP, Hafa Health Tips. Good morning, Jason Salas.
All right. Good morning, and good morning, everybody. Now, of course, Chris was just talking about, what do you say, 12 ghost peppers? I don't exactly think that's traditional holiday fare, but that certainly is like stressful and everything like that. So to kind of calm these waters and everything, we bring in a new friend, a learned physician, Dr. Tham from FHP, and we are talking about holiday stress. Now, Doc, good morning, and happy holidays to you. Okay, now I know the ghost pepper thing. I think Chris just made a brand new tradition. It's probably going to take off, so it's probably going to be part of our island culture. I don't think I'll partake in that because 12 ghost peppers is just like that's not just mental stress. That's also like really physical. But the reason why we're having you here on the show is talking about this time of year, which even in a non-pandemic time, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of maybe memories and obligations that come rushing back and everything that can be, it can wear somebody down. So how do we actually address these? And, how can you, do you basically tell your patients this is how you manage the stress, or this is how you, control it, or what is the approach that you take when it comes to, this very stressful time of year?
So first thing, I tell them to sit down and take a nice deep breath and just have some perspective. It's going to be okay. For as stressful as the holidays are, this is a period that's, supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a time where you get to connect with family and friends that you haven't seen for a while. It's not supposed to be something that's stress inducing and that you should be dreading. Now, granted, not all of us have a great relationship with our families, and that could be stressful in and of itself. But you should try to surround yourself with people who, are positive in your life and give you joy. And
iron sharpens iron.
Yes, and try to avoid the people that, are causing too much stress. Life's too short. You don't need that in your life. Mm-hmm. But as far as other practical things that, I recommend is, for sure, make sure you're getting enough sleep. Okay. Because if you're not sleeping well, it just, compounds the problem, compounds your stress levels. The other thing is try to get out and get some exercise or maintain your exercise regimen. Or if you're not somebody who exercises, that's okay. Just spend 10 minutes, go walk around outside, step away from the situation.
Could we talk about the sleep for a second, doctor? Because I know it's, I guess, and I've been, kind of like stressed out and, the loss of a family member or, bad breakups and everything like that. And sure. I found that, I always read when I was trying to, like self-diagnose, which is probably like the worst thing I did.
Yes.
Yeah, go to WebMD and you'll find like the result of everything, of course, air quotes.
After Google.
Yeah, but I did read that, getting sufficient sleep helps to calm the effects of stress, but at the same time it's like I'm really stressed out, so I can't really get sufficient sleep, and I'm not getting sufficient sleep, so I'm more stressed out in the day, and it's this big this snowball.
It's totally a catch-22 for those who don't realize sleep is not just a period where you're not doing anything. There's actually really important physiologic processes that happen during the sleep cycle, a lot of metabolic things that happen in your brain that your brain actually needs to do. Things that control our stress hormones happens during the sleep cycle. How we manage our insulin levels happens during the sleep cycle. Even the hormones that control our sense of hunger happens during sleep. And if we're not getting enough sleep, we're going to feel more hungry, we're going to overeat, and usually because we're stressed, we tend to eat more unhealthy food, and it sort of compounds the problem. So, yes.
I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was, if you eat too late or you don't get sufficient sleep, you're not going to be hungry, and that's what screws up, and your eating cycle is all thrown off. You're actually saying it's the opposite. Fascinating.
Yeah. If you're not getting good quality sleep, it increases your feelings of hunger and you're going to eat more. And it also affects your hormones that control your sensation of feeling full. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're going to feel hungry, you're not going to feel satisfied when you do eat, and it's a vicious cycle. But as far as improving your sleep hygiene, I recommend that you try to be consistent about picking a regular time to go to sleep. Try to pick generally the same time to go to sleep. And also, maybe an hour or two before you're getting ready to go to sleep, try to wind things down. Disconnect from social media, disconnect from all your electronics, the computer, the phone, the tablets, the TV. I know it's really hard, but the light, the brightness from your computers actually affect your sleep hormones. It's going to make your body think that it's daytime when it's actually nighttime. So just that bright light will affect your feeling of not wanting to sleep. So try to disconnect yourself from electronics an hour or two before. Take a hot bath or hot shower to help relax you. Maybe drink some chamomile tea or some warm milk. Warm milk has tryptophan in it, which is that sleepy hormone that we get after we eat a big meal or after we eat, turkey dinner at Thanksgiving. Everybody feels tired. That's the tryptophan that makes us feel sleepy. So, try to do that before you go to bed. And for some people, they tend to get up frequently, to use the restroom in the middle of the night. So if you're one of those people who are getting up 5 or 6 times a night to pee, I recommend maybe an hour before you plan to go to bed, stop drinking liquids. Try to get everything out of your system as much as you can so you're not constantly interrupted during your sleep to get up to use the bathroom.
So what I'm hearing around this is, your best prescription, if you will, is just to establish a good, smart, consistent routine that you would repeat over the course of the holidays.
Yeah, routine is very good and necessary. And I think that's another problem with the holidays is when people are stressed, their routines are off. So as much as possible, try to keep to your routines as much as you can. It'll help with the stress. The other thing I also recommend is learn to say no to people. I think the other thing that's very stressful in the holidays is that we overcommit. And, we don't want to let anyone down. And so we agree to do everything. And that just further adds to the stress.
And your holiday to-do list is like this. You flap it out and it winds up looking like Santa's naughty or nice list. And it goes a mile long. And just looking at the volume of it can stress you out. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to buy the lights. I got to pick up so-and-so from the airport. I got to feed the dog. I got to, one of my other neighbors is leaving. So I got to watch his dog. And
exactly.
Oh,
so try to put up some boundaries and learn to say no because, otherwise it's just going to add to your stress. It's not good for anybody.
Now, Doc, for those of us who, work in office buildings, I know there's, certain industries, they say, okay, we're basically going to give you the entire Christmas week off because, nothing gets done anyway. And, we're in a product oriented industry. But if you work in the services industry and retail, you can't exactly step away from it. And I would even argue that maybe your stress is even elevated a little bit because you've got customers all the time and, the pressure to really do good with your sales. So are there any exercises or, even physical or mental that we can do to kind of relieve stress? Like if we step outside and go into the break room and just kind of center yourself?
Yeah, for sure. An easy one I recommend to all my patients is just do 5 minutes of a breathing exercise. Even if you work in retail, no one's going to miss you for 5 minutes. I mean, you could go into the bathroom stall for 5 minutes and just instead of using the bathroom, just spend that 5 minutes doing some deep breathing. And, I think it's kind of ironic that it's socially acceptable for people to take smoke breaks where they get to leave the building and go outside to smoke. But for all of us non-smokers, we have to stay inside and get stressed out. So I encourage people to take non-smoking breaks. So if your fellow smoking colleagues can leave the building for 5 minutes to smoke, you should be able to leave the building for 5 minutes to not smoke and spend 5 minutes to just walk around the building or do 5 minutes of breathing outside. I have a theory with smokers that the reason why maybe smoke breaks are stress relieving to them is it's not, I mean, some of it is the nicotine, sure, but I think another part of it is that they're actually removing themselves from their work environment for 5 minutes to take their smoke break.
So the smoking's coincidental.
Exactly. They're going outside, they're taking nice, slow, deep breaths on their cigarettes. They're removing themselves from the situation. So I say, and that in and of itself, if you spend 5 minutes doing slow, deep breathing outside away from work, you're gonna, relieve stress. So take a non-smoke break.
And if you're like me, guys, and you have like a Fitbit, the newer Fitbits actually have meditation mode, and it'll actually like buzz. There's a haptic feature on the Fitbit, and it'll tell you, like, it'll measure your breathe and tell you how to breathe and everything. And it really does do a really great job of slowing your heart rate down.
Yeah, it's great. The key, though, is to breathe slowly. If you breathe quickly, you're going to hyperventilate, and that's actually going to increase your sense of anxiety and stress. Boy. So it's really, really key to take nice, slow, deep breaths. 5 minutes. No one's going to miss you for 5 minutes, even if you work in retail.
Good tip. Okay, and last question. What about for those people who just, the holidays plus the pandemic plus, work obligations, family obligations, it's one big compounded ball of stress and everything like that. And some people are just like, it's just overwhelmed me and everything like that. I've tried to do what Dr. Tham did, like I go outside and everything. It's just too much and everything like that. For people who just have that much on their plate and everything like that, who should they talk to or who can they see?
Well, for sure, reach out to the people that you trust and know and feel like you can talk to. Just talking to another person can help relieve stress and anxiety. But yes, if the situation is serious where, you're actually having a depressive episode, you're starting to have suicidal thoughts, that's much more serious than just simple holiday stress. And if you see that in yourself or you recognize that in a loved one, please, please, please encourage them to go see their doctor, go see a counselor, or if it's really bad, KUAM Behavioral Health, they have a crisis hotline.
I was going to say, because, we
reach out to them.
And we now know, I guess, society that, mental health is a spectrum and so many other things that were kind of just thought of as like minor. Well, everybody goes through that. Everybody fails a test. Everybody gets dumped at some point. These can be things about mental health. So for people like that for whom the holidays just wind up triggering that.
Yes.
I mean, those are extra sensitive.
It is. And especially I've found since the pandemic, we're seeing a lot more people with mental health issues coming to us in the clinics. Just the isolation, of COVID is affecting a lot of people's mental health. And I think compounded that with the holidays, even though things are certainly better now this year than it was same time last year, this can still be a very lonely time for people. So I really encourage people to look out for your neighbors, look out for your friends, people who, are not maybe the most social people who tend to, be by themselves. Try to reach out to those people and check in on them and make sure they're okay.
Mm-hmm. There also is something to be said about the power of prayer. If you're the church-going type and everything like that, if that gives you a sense of peace and everything, by all means, you can do it as much as you like, anytime you like.
For sure. And, now everything's online. You can even go to church online. So, just, don't be afraid to reach out and, check in with, the people that you don't see often and make sure they're okay. This is the time to be, taking count and taking census of everybody and making sure that everyone's doing okay during this stressful time.
Yeah, because this should be a very, very joyous time by design and everything. But if for whatever reason, boys and girls, that it's not and everything like that, good folks like Dr. Mo-Ping Tham at FHP are here to get you the help that you can need so you can get back on track and enjoy the holidays. So, Doctor, we really appreciate it, and we wish you and your team down there at FHP the very best of holiday season.
Thank you very much. You too.
All right. And please stay tuned, everybody, because the link will be back, and we'll wrap up the show right after these messages.
We all know that a healthy lifestyle is important to prevent chronic diseases and long-term illnesses and boost mental health. It's difficult to determine exactly which healthy habits are worth investing in to live longer and healthier lives. But FHP is here to help. Tune into the link every Tuesday for FHP Hafa Health Tips, brought to you by Take Care. Helpful advice about healthy lifestyle choices that will have a big difference in your health from the medical experts at FHP Clinic. FHP Hafa Health Tips on the link every Tuesday is brought to you by Take Care.